What's up, everyone? This is George from Your Local Musician, and this is episode 11 of the Beats in My Bedroom podcast. Whoop whoop! We finally cracked over 10 episodes. Small milestone, but it's good regardless, I suppose. Now, today, what I'm going to do is I want to get straight into it. I want to share some sauce that I believe is going to be extremely useful to most music producers trying to sort of grow a brand out there and get their thing moving. Or if you're an artist as well, this applies to you. Well, it applies to everyone really, but I'm mainly focusing on musical creatives in this, as I do with every piece of content. And that is, I'm going to share some sauce on how to manage your music projects around your 9 to 5. Obviously, an incredibly critical thing to everyone. If you're going to manage the two, obviously, you really kind of need a job to get the two going. You know, you need income from somewhere to get your thing going. But I'm just going to share the source on how I do it, for instance. So how do I manage recording, making beats, and doing bits of Photoshop and things like everything that I do to basically put out this content, to work on kits with Slap Experts, work on kits of my own. How do I manage it while also having a job at the same time? And it comes down to a subject that we've talked about a few times on this podcast, and that's called scheduling. But how do I actually do it? I use, for instance, it's not rocket science. I use things like my Google Calendar. So there are you can obviously set up different alerts throughout the day within your calendar, and obviously I just allocate pieces of time each day to a certain task. And the tricky thing is obviously knowing what to do. So, for instance, I also have a whiteboard round the corner from out of the camera view, and I've got a few things on it. So I've got obviously things like doing an IG live for my Slap Experts Pack Genesis, starting a new kit, and recording episodes of this. These are tasks that I carry out day by day, and I focus on one of them a day, because if I focus on one of them a day, I can still allocate time to actually living and having a life and spending time with the woman that I'm going to marry. And but I focus every sort of day on achieving just one thing that I think is going to obviously get me closer to whatever it is that I'm trying to achieve. And the main tools that I use are obviously things like my Google Calendar. Mainly, I have no need for things, other sort of productivity sort of apps. Sorry, I've forgotten what it was called. It's like Team Manager's app or something like that. There is no team. I am the team. So it's just utilising the bits of technology that pretty much all of us have. We all pretty much have smartphones, and there are apps on there, apps that are help you in your productivity. There's another one that is quite good called Google Tasks. So I will have certain hours of the day set up for on a Saturday at maybe 6:30, something like that. I dedicate 2 hours to making beats, and that will be my time making beats. And is ultimately being so structured that keeps me on the path towards the success that I'm trying to create. And this applies in anything. Use the technology that is already in your phone that you are perhaps neglecting. You feel overrun. Allocate certain time periods throughout the day. This is why CEOs have they need someone obviously keeping an eye on what they do. And this is ultimately how you achieve some kind of success. Sorry, I'm getting notifications from my computer right now saying that my disk is almost full. So we're gonna wrap this up kind of considerably quicker. Weird way to end a podcast, George. But use the technology that you already have within you that you are perhaps neglecting. That's what a lot of people do, to stay structured and how to basically manage your music projects around your sort of 9 to 5. And if you're trying to be in a relationship as well. So when you get home, let's say you finish work at 5 and you get home at 5:30, dedicate from 5:30 to 7 o'clock towards making beats. That's more than enough time to knock out a beat each sort of day, if you're efficient with your process and what you do and things like that. And that's ultimately what I kind of do. I just allocate certain tasks to certain days, and I focus on only achieving that number. And when I have achieved that number, I feel good. I feel like I've been productive with my time. And ultimately, that's where the magic comes from, I believe. There are some days where you slack off here and there and things like that, and having a day here or there to just not do something is also needed, because obviously you need that time to regenerate. You can't always be in full go on mode, but if you go on full go, but if you're trying to achieve what you want, that's the best advice that I can give you. Just be structured, and know what you're gonna do before you do it. Give it some thought, and that's always been the best way for me. So guys, if you liked this episode, this was the Beats in My Bedroom podcast, episode 11. Please do subscribe if you are not already subscribed. If you're on any of the audio platforms, obviously do whatever it is to follow me on there. And I look forward to seeing you in episode 12.